Welcome back to the shop. Today we're back on the MGB, working on that cross member that I picked up a little while ago. Today we are going to fully dismantle the A-arms and then take apart the kingpins and look at those bushings and probably replace those bushings, and I'll show you how to set that up. Alright, so I've got one side on the bench. This should be the left side, the driver's side. We've already knocked a few of these loose last time, and what we're going to do is just take the shock off, take the lower control arm off, then we'll put those aside so we can clean them up. So, buzz that off. Now the big thing is that pretty much all of these are the same left to right. The only thing that's really different is just the actual steering knuckle. Every other part of this is kind of cross-compatible with every other side, which makes it really nice to service. Ooh. Putting some big gouges in my workbench. Let's see. Yeah. When in doubt, use a random socket as a standoff. Ow. Cool. Now we can pull the shock off and put that aside. One shock, I guess, kind of ready to go. Put this guy back in. We'll put our nut back on. So now we're going to do the same thing with this piece right here. Grabbing the pliers. Oh, that's just not going. I just ripped the head off of that cotter pin. And also, I'm not like an evangelist or anything, but if you guys haven't seen these Harbor Freight Icon pliers, they are pretty good. Right, 3/4 on this guy. Probably need an 11/16 wrench. Nope, 3/4 on both sides. I like that. Oh, there's some deep holes. We got a bigger problem. This bolt is definitely seized in there. The other thing I noticed while messing with it, this piece of the control arm is actually pretty twisty. So that actually kind of puts a damper in a lot of what I wanted to do with this. Because my plan was to just swap the cross member in and not really mess with any of this. But if I've got to replace these, I don't think I'm going to do that. So we might just take the car apart and do it like a normal, but I'll use this as my spare parts. We are still going to dismantle this because, well, I want to show you what's inside and I want to have spare parts. But I don't think I'm going to go through and go too crazy with this. Just because I know the kingpins on the car are pretty good, so I don't actually have to mess with them. And I'm pretty sure that this isn't, well, I know these aren't dented. We'll see if this is bad too. So yeah, so that changes the direction of this. The whole real goal behind this is actually just to switch my hubs to go to bolt-on wheels instead of the splined interface of those wires. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer noticing that. But like I said, not the end of the world. I'm going to keep plugging away at this and we're going to get this apart. So instead of taking this out for now, because I know this is like completely seized into here, we're going to just start taking this whole thing apart. So that means I'm going to pull the cotter pins out of here and we're going to buzz these off. Well, that's just terrible. Fun thing is, with tiny cotter pins, you can actually just loosen this and shear them with an impact. So that saves a little bit of time. I do like to pull them out anyway. The main reason for that is that the bits of them tend to get broken off inside of the hole, and then you've got to get them unstuck. Yeah, you can really see from this angle, there's a bow to this one. So this was in some sort of accident at some point in the past. So yeah, well, I'm better for not using these. Impacts, impacts. Now this should pretty much fall apart. So that right there is the spring pan. That's what holds the spring. And then I should be able to pull this arm off, and then in here we've got our bushings. This is one of the things I'm definitely going to be replacing. I do have a new bushing kit with some nice poly bushes and also the upper. But again, that's not going to be on these, but we'll see what I can't do as far as saving pieces. But yeah, these bushings have, I'd say they've seen better days, but they're actually in much better shape than most of the ones I see at work. And we'll see if my centers are any different. These guys will get bent pretty frequently, so if these are straight and mine are bent, then at least I've got spares. And yeah, we'll see about this. Looks like I did actually, oh, okay. So I can get that out. Wow, this is trashed. This is so much more trashed than I thought. So this little sleeve, there's not a bushing here, like a rubber bushing. There should be a brass bushing in here. And not only is the bolt seized in the sleeve, but the sleeve is wallowing inside that hole. So yeah, I would have definitely needed at least a new trunnion, like a new kingpin setup. I could probably replace that bushing, but it might not really be worth it. Yeah. Crusty. Well, hey, did I mention this was free? So I can't complain with the price I paid. But let's, no, I'd say let's move it to the vise, but I don't think I even really need to. So this guy, we'll pull our castle nut off. This guy is what really controls the preload of the kingpin. So what goes on in here is that there are different shims and a brass bushing that this rides on, and that controls the up and down. So obviously we've got this loose, so it's got a lot of up and down. When it's tight, it should have almost none, like I think a couple thousandths. So I'll show you what that looks like. First thing, I'm going to pull that off, or pull this bushing out. The reason for that is that this bushing is actually kind of what's keeping this top on. So if you're ever taking these guys apart, you need to make sure you take these bushings out. You might get it out, but you also might damage something in the process if you don't take these out. Oh yeah. I suppose I could just drift this through, but there we go. Oh, it's because it twisted. So yeah, if you look through that hole, if you can see, yes, you can see through that hole. There's actually a cutout piece in this guy. When I twist that, you'll see that hole is partially obscured. So I'll pull this out. There's our kingpin, and then this is that like scalloped edge I was talking about. So the bushing sits in there like so, and that gives an extra level of protection in case that castle nut comes loose, and that keeps this from flying off. So there's some redundancies, and that's why I said when you loosen this and you smack it, you don't have to be that concerned that it's going to pop completely apart, because that's in there. But yeah, so this will slips in there. Then we've got a couple different bearing edges. So this, there's a bushing, there's a cylindrical bushing here and here, and they ride against here and here. That's what helps it turn, and that's what keeps it kind of concentric so it doesn't wobble around like this. Then on the top side we have that's just a part of that. We have some steel shims, and we have a brass bushing. Now this was oriented with the brass in between the two steel shims. Everything I've ever heard is that the brass should go at the bottom, and that bears against this piece right here. And there is a grease zerk right here, and when you pump the grease in, not only fills the grooves in this upper bushing, but it also squirts out to the top to lubricate this. So it doesn't really matter, but the way I see it, if you want the one you're actually bearing against, the brass consumable, you want that closest to the grease that's going to squirt out of here. And yeah, you can see in the bottom we have another bushing. Let's see if I can show that. You can kind of see that. This one is definitely ovalized and pretty grooved from lack of maintenance. And a lot of that has to do with, yeah, look at this. This is what that is supposed to be sliding on, and it is pitted and chunky and gross. So, yeah, kingpins on this one, trash. I figured I would probably buy new ones anyway. These guys, trash. And then this guy, I'll have to dig through. That is a lot of rubber residue left on there. Hopefully it's not, you know, pitted. But these do frequently wear out. So yeah, I'll see if I can't clean these up. They might be useful. And I said I probably wouldn't use any of these, and I still probably won't. But if these are cheap enough and I can just get a couple, I might continue on with this rebuild. But I know that the trunnions on my car are actually in really good shape for their age, so I think I'm going to let those be. And I think what we're going to do is just do the regular suspension bushing kit. Alright, this is the second one, and I figured I'd actually show you while it's in there just how worn this guy is. That shouldn't wiggle like that. So yeah, those bushings, they are shot. Okay, there is both sides taken apart. Like I said, I probably won't necessarily use any of this immediately because all of this that's on my car is in good shape. I may save those shocks. Those are still really good. So if I have any shock issues with mine, I've got some spares. But yeah, these guys have definitely seen better days. I actually looked, and this spring pan is actually cracked right there. So these have seen better days. So yeah, all usable-ish stuff, and good as spares if something really bad happens. But none of it's better than what I got. So that's going to all go in a box and live upstairs. And I probably won't think about it for like 5 years. Alright guys, sorry about that little bit of a detour, but life is what it is. So hope you enjoyed taking a look at what goes into the suspension. Next time I do a video on the B, we're going to definitely be doing actual work on the B. And not, you know, just doing teardowns on the cross member, which I'm kind of bummed. I guess I could still switch the cross member and then reuse my old parts, but I don't know if it's worth it. I do want to use that new cross member that I picked up, mostly because it's the early one that has that little like hook on it for, I say for towing, but it's really just for strapping it down to a ship. If you try to jerk that real hard, you'll definitely rip that off. So if you have an early B and it's got one of those little eyelet hookies, no kinetic pulls, just slow, low impact pulling with that one. So like, you know, a winch, not a truck with a cheap tow strap or a chain. That'll definitely hurt it. But anyway, I'm rambling, but I suppose that's going to be it for this week, and I'll see you next time. Probably not going to be on the B because I've got a lot more stuff on the Chevy to work on. Oh, there's some deep holes. We got a bigger problem.